A key to any good desert homestead is water. You gotta have water if you want to grow things, and a homestead's about growing things. I'm Greg Allison from Green Greg's. Here, check this out, guys. This is my dam, one of my dams. And this one, if it ever manages to fill up, if this monsoon season ever actually produces any rain this year, it has, yeah, a couple years ago when I was out here, we had a lot of rain. If this fills up, then I've got something that would be deep enough to swim in right here. Almost head deep here at the deepest part there. So I could have a lot of water in this basin here, which I could put a garden out over there. I'm thinking one back up here. So just kind of give you some, maybe back over there somewhere. And this could be a good reservoir, even back over there. This would be a good reservoir for saving water like that. You know, so I do have a rock or two here on this property. Just to give you a quick heads up, we're going to walk out and show you some of the other things that I'm looking to do to preserve water, collect rainwater, manage water trucked in while I can get it, and distribute across my property. These are all things that you're going to see in this video. Yeah, how am I going to get the worms going again? All stuff. So that's what we're going to be covering on my long shadow down there. Anyway, kind of pulling a little hill here. As you can see, we got some beautiful country around here. My cats think so. They're happy here. As long as Sun Crater don't start throwing lava bombs out again. That's been about 900 years since that happened. I could live with it being another 900 years or so. Anyway, this, I hope one day, will be the site of my underground house that I have covered in the videos I've done about universal habitat. I might put some wally pennies over in that area. That's kind of my thinking. You see my troller and my black truck down there. And you can see my bug out bus. And now it's a storage bus. Enough storage room out here for all my junk. Hopefully I'll change some of that. So we're gonna do a quick walk through my homestead as we go around here. That van got stolen from me. Fortunately, I was able to recover it, but it wound up in something of a hack shop and there was some damage done to it. Y'all may remember the van, Van of White. That was my first custom van. I made some videos from it. I was initially planning to live in it, but I wound up living in a van called Candy instead, which, we got that and running. Got some of the smell out of it. It's probably a better van. This is my 9 kW solar panel. And I'm actually thinking I'm gonna build another big room out here on this side of it. Still got some of my stuff. This is still a construction zone, guys. We're still very much building and constructing here. So this place looks more like Sanford and Sons than what I would like. We'll get that rectified. That has a beautiful panel, huge panel. And we get huge winds here. That's why it's built to be so strong. So this big panel can handle the huge winds. Unfortunately, one of my inverters went. I got that locked up. It'd take me 5 or 10 minutes of video time to unlock that, to show you the insides. We'll save that for another day. This will one day be a patio. Outdoor kitchen will be over there. So we got tools and stuff scattered around. And I'll talk about my garden here in a minute. We'll go through there, and I got to water it here in a second, talking about water. But I want to take you back here. I got some little auxiliary tanks that I use here. I usually fill them from the big tank. I just take my house water straight out of that one right there. Get it from the other one. But I could also take it straight out of the big tank, if I so choose, which I might switch up on that. All right, now you see that white tank? I meant to mention this. I walked right past and planned to set up rainwater collection off this roof. This roof of my tiny home here can collect almost 1,900 gallons of water on a year with the average rainfall. We're running a little under average this year right now. I'm going to set that white tank here. And this will be a rainwater reservoir. Now we got ditches all over my property, dug out for the purpose of running pipe. And then we're going to put a switch down there where I can switch this water in to go to the garden. But I don't want it going to the house. It's going to be below the stream where the green tank sends the water either to the house or the garden. Now, I don't get enough water pressure to run my hoses from the green tank by itself. Now, there's the van I lived in for the most part. And there's Betsy Blue, y'all remember her. So we're still in the process of working this plumbing down here, making some repairs. We jerked one of those pipes out, digging the trench. So I have to run a pump to pressurize the water to run the water hoses. But you can see I got another channel dug way out to go up that hill up there. And that hill up there has got a neat feature to it. Around the top to it, it's got like a lip built for water retention. So I think that's a natural place to put a garden. That lip don't seem natural. I think the Indians did. And I made it with another garden back down that way, and some orchard trees around here. Even some of these flat places, I might do some greenhouses. So, got a 3,000 gallon water tank here. I have water hauled in presently. If I haven't ever get enough roofs put in and enough gutters to collect rainwater or put a well in, I may not have to do that. Wells are very expensive out here. So I'll show you another water collection feature. You see that in the distance? What is that? What in the world, Greg, have you got down here? Can you figure it out? Well, it's another dam. You see that? Here you guys. I got another dam for another little puddle. Like I said, if we get the rain. So, and this one is right behind my main garden. At least my initial main garden here. In fact, that underground house I plan to build, the universal habitat, is in and of itself a garden. Or hopefully will be. There's some cow panel cut up. A bunch of shelving I used to have in my mushroom house. This is the steel panels for building a little building here. See, I got wood out here. See, this is, like I said, it's a construction zone. Now, I'm fencing my garden in. I got cats to keep the rats out because I was told rats would destroy the garden. But I've discovered cats will too. Cats have been very destructive in my garden. I never had a problem in Alabama. I think it's just that cat, Smokey. I think he's a garden destroyer, unfortunately. So, and look, I just showed you that pond. I got another one down there and another one down there. So I got 4 ponds. I got some stuff coming up, but I've had to replant over and over and over. I'm having to water every day. It was so dry when I started out here, I had to water twice a day. And this stuff is barely going. Stuff is taking a lot longer to sprout here. See that tin down there is going to go all the way around here. I got a trench all the way around this garden to put tin and or wire mesh, hardware cloth, to keep rats out. And that's to keep cows out. Cows and hopefully deer. So I got to keep rats and cats and cows and deer out of this garden. Now I do have some things coming up. Now, I did try to transplant some squash. Nothing I transplanted did well here because of it just wasn't hardened off properly, I guess. But everything I plant here that does come up and don't get tore up by a cat, get out of here, cats, does pretty well. Now we're going to put another faucet down here on this side. I got one over there, so I can water with that hose. And I got some stuff I planted down that way. And I'm planning to run the water on back. So this is, the water is the key story today. We'll do power on another day. But water is my key story. Like I said, I got a dam down there. So right over here is where I plan to raise rabbits and eventually some chickens. Right in that area, I'm building a rabbit hutch, chicken hutch. Part of this will be a chicken run out here, leading to the garden when the garden's gone. I can put them in. And part of this area here is intended to be for windrow type worm beds if they don't desiccate too bad out here. Let's find a way to manage that. And I'll show you my other 2 ponds. And then I got to get to water in my garden. See that? That's going to be a pond, I hope. Now, I'm told that I can expect them to silt in after a rain or two, if I manage to get a rain or two, to kind of fill them up, and they might get enough clay to block the water from seeping through. But I don't know that for a fact. What I know is if that don't work, I can get bentonite clay hauled in, or buy some of that and have it brought in here to seal the ponds. Or you can use pond liner. That's expensive too. Either way, it's kind of expensive. I do have some pond liner. I got a fair big piece of it, but I'm hoping to use that pond liner in a greenhouse I hope to build right here. Kind of like the one I had in Alabama. Well, yeah, aquaponics, deep water culture. Now, I love sunsets, guys. I got a lot of good sunset pictures out here. If I wasn't doing this video, I'd be snapping one of that right now. And here's my fourth pond, or third in this series. Guys, I got a lot of ponds out here. Hopefully that'll help me collect rainwater that washes off all this land. And I got some debris out here. The winds blow everything. If it ain't got some severe weight on it, it blows. And now I'll show you back the trench path where we're going to be running water from the water tanks. And I may set up and add in other water tanks too. There's a plow and disc I used on my garden. Now, I use this disc when it's on the tractor right now, and that plow. This ground here is hard, very hard. All this trench digging was dug out with a skid steer with a trencher on it. So I'm gonna bring water down here to where I'm gonna have hopefully an aquaponics greenhouse. Got 40 acres here, guys. Got more room than I had in Alabama. So, and you can see here we've got a junction. Thing is, we got to shovel all this out. Going on to the other side over there, and that water line crossing the road here is going to be for my worm beds. See my sled bed worm beds over there? Y'all remember those? I sold most of them. I had 42. Actually, I think I had more than that. See there? Sold them for a song, guys. Practically ate my way. Anyway, so there's sled beds. And I got to get water out to them to get my worms started again. And that was the van I used to grow my microgreens in. And the sunset is real pretty. That's my truck, my 2-ton truck that I actually brought those beds out on. And that's all that's left of my old log barn, my friends. I'll use that for siding on some of the sheds I'm going to build out here. So, once again, we got water. This is where I'm going to have my worm processing building shed right here. I might even build a little worm growing shed out here. Grow some inside a shed with a little different technique, which I'm sure y'all love to see. There's rat force 1. Freddy cat always likes to take a tour with me. And we'll come back to where we were a minute ago. And again, right here, it's going to tee out and go to where I'll have my rabbits and chickens. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel, bang all. I'm going to be covering more homesteading videos. That will be hopefully a new staple of this Green Greg's channel, returning to its original intent. Except it'll be desert homesteading, which is far more challenging. Far more challenging. So I got a lot to talk about there, and will for some time to come. So subscribe to my channel, bang on, click the notification bell. And got a swivel head news for news. I'm going to move. What's making a racket? I'm going to move a lot of my news content to the swivel head news channel. Anyway, yeah, you got to pay a lot of attention to rackets out here. Make sure something don't sneak up on you. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Greg out.